Today's MetroNews television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hi there. Additional storms possible this evening, then another round on Saturday. Our Friday is warm and sunny, cooler starting Sunday. By Monday morning, could have a frost and freeze on our hands. The need for precipitation is increasing, with Charleston's month-to-date deficit approaching an inch, year-to-date approaching 4 inches, which is why we now have a moderate drought over areas of southern and eastern West Virginia. The spots that need the rain the most will generally see the lower amounts over the next 7 days. There is this corridor of a widespread ½ inch to an inch, higher amounts possible locally. A lot of that falling on Saturday when we have this marginal severe threat looking to the northern panhandle for a slight risk. Bringing it back to this evening, still a widespread marginal threat for some large hail and damaging winds. 7 p.m. onward here, we'll see storms rolling from west to east, generally losing intensity once the sun goes down. By the early morning hours, a few showers, then we dry out for your Friday. Fly CRW forecast, it starts at home, holding on to 90 on Sunday for Orlando and Tampa, but much of the rest of the country will start to cool down on the other side of the front that cools us down locally. Washington, D.C., 63 on Sunday. Panhandle to Panhandle forecast, looking north for 58 to 61 tonight, then 77 to 81 for our Friday. Still very warm for this time of year, but not quite as warm as today. Martinsburg looking at 65 for a low tonight, then we'll see 81 to 83 in many of these communities for your Friday. Continuing to look across the region, Elkins 56 tonight, Ripley 58. We'll see that spread of 83 to 75 here Friday, and ending looking south, Charleston bottoming out around the 60-degree mark for tonight into Friday, and then topping off with about 83 there on Friday. Cooler areas east in the mid-70s. Notice that it will be much quieter after some lingering showers on Sunday and some mornings in the 30s.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Five, 3, 1.
Red 57! Red 57! Hot, hot!
I don't believe what I just saw. Bill McKenzie kicks a 38-yard field goal on the final play of the football game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
From the home of the state's land-grant institution, inside the Health Plan Studios, in the Dale B. Miller Building in Morgantown, it's time for the state's most listened-to sports talk show. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. CityNet, cybersecurity experts for the digital age. And now, across the state of West Virginia and beyond, Sportsline is on the air.
Sportsline for Thursday. Good evening. I'm Kyle Wiggs. Greg Hunter's back in the studio, back from spring workouts. And Greg, good evening.
Good evening, Kyle. Last of our interview opportunities after our practice session. We will get another opportunity after Saturday's spring festival.
All right. So that's spring practice. That'll be spring practice number 15 and wrap things up. We'll talk spring football. Pat Kirkland met the media. Of course, former University of Charleston head coach, now special teams coordinator and staff member on the defensive side for the Mountaineers, and also Andrew Powdrell. Did I say that right?
Close.
Powdrell.
Andrew
Powdrell, one of the transfers into the defensive backfield. We'll hear from him as well. Also, we're scheduled to be joined. He's at practice right now. They're going to cut him loose a little bit early so he can join us. Zaden Ranson of Charleston Catholic High School, who's an incredible athlete, a 3-sport guy. We'll let him tell the story. But he was just recently announced as the winner of the Hardman Award, the Shorty Hardman Award. I'll let you get into exactly who Shorty Hardman was a little bit later. But anyway, it's extremely rare that a high school athlete gets this honor. And we will be joined by Zaden Ranson coming up a little bit later on the Sportsline.
Yeah, the West Virginia Sports Writers Association puts out a string of their, sort of end-of-the-year awards, and this is one of those. And this is a very prestigious one. as you said, amateur athlete of the year in the entire state of West Virginia, and normally goes to a college athlete. And there have been some great ones, the Pat Whites, Major Harris's, Randy Moss's of the world. But obviously, Xavier, in terms of what he's done in the high school ranks, very deserving.
This young man's won state championships in soccer, baseball, and basketball. So we'll speak with him a little bit later on. Our first guest, Coach Hunter, his work was presented on television in Washington, D.C. last night, and it was also retweeted or whatever. Is it X now? It was X'd by the White House. Did you know that?
I did not see that. Spent too much time doing yard work today to follow the obviously just wide-ranging people who think our guy's one of the best.
Joe Brocato joins us. He's on assignment again tonight, but he's got 5 minutes to join us here on Sportsline. Joe, good evening.
Hey, good evening, guys.
Okay, so, again, a pretty dramatic situation. We're going to talk a little bit about West Virginia beating Penn State and that huge crowd over at Hagerstown, but you had the privilege of being there when West Virginia's own Andrew Wolf threw out the first pitch, and he, of course, was wounded in that ambush attack in Washington, D.C. around Thanksgiving of last year, and here he was last night throwing out the first pitch prior to the West Virginia-Penn State game. So set that up for us, and was it a surprise? Did you know that was going to happen?
I did not know that was happening, and I don't know that many people in the ballpark did either, but it was set up well by the public address announcer inside Meredith Park, where he identified the first pitch of the person that's going to be throwing out the first pitch as a true American hero, and you could get the sense that a lot of people took attention at that. And then I think once people realized that Andrew Wolf was going to be the person throwing out the first pitch, there was a lot more anticipation than a typical first pitch, and it was very, very well received when Andrew Wolf was able to step out towards the mound and throw the pitch. Ben Lumsden on the receiving end of it for the Mountaineers, and it was a great scene. It was great to be able to see Sergeant Wolf get a great hand from all those that were in attendance, and really, really great scene to set the stage for what was a great night of baseball at Meredith Park.
So, Joe, that's what I was going to ask you. Obviously, a record crowd in Hagerstown, and the reaction when he stepped to the mound and when he made the first pitch. What was the feeling amongst the crowd?
Yeah, I mean, you saw everybody in the park stand up, and you saw, and typically everybody gives to whoever is throwing out the first pitch some polite applause and some recognition, but this was obviously on a higher level, and I think really was very well received by Sergeant Wolf. He waved to the crowd as he was exiting and got a lot more handshakes and high fives as he was exiting towards the WVU dugout, and really provided a great atmosphere to set the stage for last night's game.
Yeah, Andrew Wolf, a miraculous recovery. It was great to see him. Of course, he was part of that extremely unfortunate incident that took the life of another West Virginia National Guard member, Sarah Beckstrom, back in November. But what a lift and what encouragement it was to see Andrew Wolf out there last night. Okay, Joe, the game itself, the announced crowd on the box score was 4,748, and the stadium has a little over 4,000 seats. So there was a lot of people. There was a lot of room for standing room. And your thoughts on that crowd? The fact that it was almost 5,000 people there last night in Hagerstown to see West Virginia and Penn State.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when you get number of seats versus total attendance, you can get a little bit of a difference. But I do think that the way the park is laid out, where there's different areas in the outfield where there can be standing room, and there's different areas along the baselines where they really kind of lean into not necessarily here's a seat and here's how it relates to the attendance total, but standing room is a big part of what they have there. I think that created the difference in the 700 people beyond the listed attendance or the listed capacity for the park at 4,000. And I can tell you, when I was getting my press credential prior to the game from the ticket office, they had 3 operators, and all of them were talking to people, trying to find a way to still get tickets for the game about 90 minutes before first pitch. And unfortunately, that wasn't able to happen. But great crowd for everybody on hand.
Great crowd, and they saw a heck of a pitching duel both ways. West Virginia's been involved in some slugfest this year, but this one came down 3-1 Mountaineer victory after an early Penn State home run. West Virginia's pitchers were outstanding in shutting down the Nittany Lions. What was your reaction to how that game unfolded?
Yeah, David Hagan did very, very well in the starting capacity for the Mountaineers, allowed just one run on 3 hits. And then when you turn things over to the bullpen, sometimes in the midweek games, the scores can be a little bit elevated, but that was not the case really for either team. Penn State's pitchers out the bullpen pitched well, but particularly West Virginia ran out 3 relievers, Ian Korn putting up a pair of zeros. Hurricane native Weston Smith, last year's State Player of the Year, put up a scoreless 6th inning, and then Reese Passenger getting a 3 full innings to close things out, and he allowed leadoff batters to reach in both the 8th and 9th innings, but was able to get double plays to get out of the innings both times, and Steve Sabins gave him a little bit of rope, and he was able to find his way out of the inning all 3 times.
Well, great win for the Mountaineers. They remain undefeated in midweek contests and ranked 15th in the country. And, Joe, it was played in a tidy, 2 hours and 19 minutes?
I think actually the official box score said 2:17. I had 2:19 by my count, but either way, for a midweek game, that's about as speedy as you're going to find.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Joe, we'll let you get back to work. We appreciate it, and we'll see you in here tomorrow night.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Joe Brocato, again, Washington, D.C. TV picked up his video and showed it last night, and it was redistributed, I'm sure, by many, many outlets, including the White House last night, that scene with Andrew Wolf throwing out the first pitch.
Yeah, a wonderful opportunity for West Virginia and Penn State to recognize, as said, a true American hero. And West Virginia, got the win, so that's sort of secondary, I guess, in a lot of ways, but it was a baseball game, so you got to move on to that. And West Virginia moves on to this weekend, another Big 12 series at Mount County Ballpark, or Kendrick Family Ballpark, as they host Houston in a 3-game set to be played around the Spring Festival. So Friday night, Saturday a little bit later in the afternoon after you go to the Mountaineer Field for the Spring Festival football game, you can go over to Kendrick Family Ballpark for baseball and then finish it off on Sunday.
West Virginia over Penn State, 3-1. Would love to hear from you if you were there last night. If you went over from the Eastern Panhandle and checked it out at Hagerstown, give us a text, 304-TALK-304. Your thoughts on the atmosphere and on the game. We'll get to the text coming up, 304-TALK-304. Zaden Ranson to come. Also, some spring football coverage with Pat Kirkland and one of the new WVU defensive players as well. That's all to come here on the CityNet statewide sports line. You've heard the buzz about CityNet fiber expanding across West Virginia. Now you can check your address, choose the plan that fits your needs, and even pick your preferred installation window. Visit citynet.net. Remember, CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
Answering a text or phone call while driving seems pretty harmless, right? But in the 5 seconds you took your eyes off the road to respond, you missed the girl riding her bike across the street. You missed the dog who darted into the road. And you missed the stop sign. And while it was just a ticket this time, it could have been worse. In fact, more than 700 people are injured in distracted driving crashes each day. Keep yourself and others safe. Don't drive distracted. Just drive. This message was brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Worried about paying for college? MetroNews is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to WVMetroNews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
This boating season, elevate your family time with Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Proudly family-owned for over 40 years, Lou and his sons are West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Trusted experts in premium boats, motors, and service. Discover refined comfort, elegant design, and performance you can feel. Now is the perfect time to take advantage of preseason savings. At Lou Wendell Marine Sales, they don't just sell boats. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com because the weekend's almost here.
Live From the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line
Returns in 2 minutes.
on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
Looking for a show that talks about everything? You found it.
By the way, I'm really happy to talk about this as opposed to Ryan's opinion that being a sports fan is a bad thing.
He said that it kept him from being stressed about it, not that it was a bad thing, that he didn't have the stress. And, I mean, I've seen you pace.
Yeah, you're only 30 and you look like that.
So true.
Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
Thursday night, it is the CityNet statewide sports line. We're inside the Health Plan Studios. 304-TALK 304, that's the text line. Like to get your reaction if you were at the sellout game in Hagerstown last night with West Virginia and Penn State. 4,700 folks were there. So I'd like to get your reaction. 304-TALK 304, what you thought about it, the atmosphere, etc. I'm Kyle Wiggs. Greg Hunter is alongside, and we're privileged to be joined by the 2026 winner of the Hardman Award, and that goes to the state's top amateur athlete. It's usually a college player, but a couple of times in the last few years, a high school player has been honored with this award. Irene Riggs of Morgantown High, a distance runner, won it a few years ago, and this year Zaden Ranson of Charleston Catholic has won it, and Zaden's with us on the sports line. Good evening. Thanks for your time. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, guys.
We get you out of practice a little bit early, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, you did.
That's good. Well, your thoughts here. Looking down the list, just in the last 9 or 10 years, we've had a Major League Baseball player in J.J. Weatherholt. We've had an NFL quarterback in Tyson Bagent, an NFL player in Darius Stills, and an NBA player in Javon Carter win this award. So that has to be overwhelming when you find out, hey, I've join that group. What was your thought when you received the word that you'd be honored with this award?
Yeah, I mean, my initial thoughts were, this is just crazy. I honestly didn't really know what the award was, and then whenever I looked on the list, saw all those legendary names from the state of West Virginia, it was honestly just such a blessing. It really is inspiring for my name to be on there, and truly such an honor to be able to represent the state of West Virginia.
Zaden, certainly your multi-sport success is a big part of what got you there. And that's always interesting because we have that conversation about guys who specialize. Was it ever a thought in your mind that I've got to concentrate on one of those? What drove you to play so many sports and find success in so many?
Right. Well, I usually like to think just to take one sport at a time, whenever I'm in season for whether it be soccer, basketball, baseball, just try to put all of my focus and effort into that one sport. and just try to live in the moment, with my teammates and my coaches. And, the main goal is ultimately to win a state championship. So that's kind of been my mindset over the past 4 years.
Yeah, you've managed to do that multiple times with each sport, soccer, basketball, and baseball. You've won state championships. Another big part of this is the academic aspect. And according to the article that's posted at WVMetroNews.com, you've got a 4.42 cumulative GPA, including a 4.46 GPA this year at one of the more difficult academic institutions in the state in Charleston Catholic. So what motivates you there academically, and where do you see yourself going in terms of academics eventually?
Right. Well, I mean, obviously the academics I like to put first before it comes with my athletics, but you probably honestly thank Mom and Dad for that part. When it comes to the academics, they really push me. But I have a great support system at Charleston Catholic High School. If I could do it all over again, I would 100% go there, even if it was just for academics. So all my teachers and staff, my athletic director, they really push me. They always try and lift me up whenever I get down. I'm always being brought back up, just by the community itself. So it has been really a pleasure.
Where do you excel the most academically, and what's your favorite, and where do you excel the most academically?
Well, if I give my honest answer, I'd probably say gym class, but I don't know if you guys are going to count that one.
Probably not.
But I'd probably say math. I took some pretty hard math classes this year, but I like the challenge. Whether it's on the playing field or in the classroom. But at Charleston Catholic, there's a great environment, great learning environment. You almost compete with your classmates to see who can get a better grade or who can score higher on a test. So whenever you have that environment surrounding you, it really pushes you to be better.
Saying sort of the same thing about your athletic side. Is there one of those that you like better than another? Do you think you're better at one than another?
Yeah, I've gotten that question a few times. Honestly, it is between basketball and baseball, for sure. But, I always say whatever season I'm in, that's the sport I love the most. Like if I'm in basketball, I'm going to say I love basketball the most. But if I'm in baseball, I'm going to say I love baseball the most. But when it comes to being better at one or the other, I'd probably say baseball. I have a more chance of going further. I'm probably going to try and work on the jump shot a little bit this summer when it comes to basketball. Hopefully you can get that down. But, yeah, I'd probably say baseball. But I love both sports equally.
So you've made an interesting decision to extend your athletic and your academic career. Deerfield Academy in Massachusetts, which is a prep school. Tell us about that, and tell us what went into the reasoning of attending there for a year.
Yes, sir. So it all kind of started on Twitter, or on X, you say now. I had a coach. I reached out to a coach, Coach Walter Beatty. He's based out of Massachusetts. He's really been a blessing to me. He's the one who initially presented me the opportunity to go to a prep school, which I had never thought about. But once he said and mentioned Deerfield Academy, I really loved the idea of, taking an extra year, learning more, getting stronger, getting faster, getting better, but, ultimately making more connections, and also trying to take a hold of those opportunities and capitalize on those. But I visited Deerfield, I think it was in September, and, this the environment, the community, even the front office lady was just amazing. So everyone was saying hi to me, just a really great environment that I really want to be a part of, and I'm really hoping and looking forward to being a part of. So that was ultimately my main decision, but the athletics are a plus, but academically wise, that is definitely the place to be. So, yeah.
It sounds very promising. So how many sports there? 3, 2? You mentioned jump shots and your love of baseball, so you can play at least 2.
Right. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to play basketball and baseball. They're pretty historic prep school, they have all the sports that West Virginia might not have, like the water. They have water polo, they got squash, they got all of those. They got rowing, all that stuff. So maybe I'll try and look into one of those. But I've been blessed to be able to play basketball and baseball up there for sure.
So is then the goal of 4-year university after the year in prep school, play one of the two sports in college somewhere?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the main goal. I think I'll probably commit to a 4-year school over the summer. But yeah, I'll definitely spend my time at the Deerfield wisely. I think going to Deerfield will help me, hopefully, as far as the recruiting process goes. But yeah, I'm definitely going to look forward to going to a 4-year school. It'll probably be for baseball, but if I have a basketball opportunity, I'll definitely look into that for sure.
And the academic side, have you thought about what you'd major in once you get to college?
Not really, but I usually say I would major in nursing or somewhere in the medical field, just because of my mom. She really inspires me. We've actually been to Haiti like 11 or 12 times doing mission trips down there, and that kind of opened my eyes at a younger age and showed me how grateful I should be being from such a great state, great city, great town, and going to such a great school. So that kind of inspires me to be more of a helping hand in the future, whether that be in the medical field or something else. I don't know.
So soccer in the fall, basketball in the winter, baseball in the spring. You're busy constantly. Again, the GPA we talked about. What type of work do you have to put into scheduling all of this? Time management is a big issue, I would think. So where does that discipline come from, and has it been difficult?
Yeah, I mean, it has been pretty difficult. I'd say time management is definitely important for me. I try to manage my time wisely, but whether it's waking up in the morning early, at 5:30 to study for a test, or sometimes staying up until 11 or 12 to do homework. That's kind of been my routine recently. Obviously, you got to get some sleep. That's the most important part right there. So I try to take a few naps here and there. I got to get a lot of naps in during basketball, but not so much baseball. But my parents are such a big help. They really help me, and so do my teachers. I mean, they understand how it is playing sports and also doing academics at Charleston Catholic. So with them, I don't think I would be where I am now, for sure. So I really do have to thank my teachers and my parents on that one.
Yeah, and I imagine even your summers are busy. I mean, between flex days and trying to get in a little bit of lifting and conditioning, it's not like you're taking a month off in June or July.
Right. I mean, you kind of have to look at it. I mean, you get in what you get out of stuff. So, I mean, a lot of sacrifice goes into what I do. So, I mean, having to sacrifice the little things to get to where I am today, and where I want to be in the future is what I have to do. But I love doing what I do. It's a privilege to be able to play, 3 sports and be healthy, and have such a great support system. So I try to look at that as a motivation to keep going and keep sacrificing, and thankfully being able to represent the state of West Virginia as my academic and athletic career goes on.
Mm-hmm. Stats I'm looking at here, you're hitting .542 currently with Charleston Catholic. Are you still pitching as well?
No, that's a great question, though. I haven't been on the mound in about 4 years. Maybe we'll get a special appearance on senior night. You never know. But no, I have not been on the bump in a while.
Okay.
I almost had an appearance in summer ball, but no. Honestly, I would love to get up on there maybe for an inning or two, just to see what I can do. But yeah, Coach been sticking me behind the dish, and I honestly don't blame him because I can't really throw a strike. So I don't know how that. How much that will work out.
But you're lobbying for it, huh? On senior day.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Well, take a moment before we let you go. Take a moment and talk about your team. I know it was a disappointment last year. I think Logan beat you in the regional finals, best out of 3, but the state tournament's expanded this year. More teams are going. You guys are off to a great start, at least according to the MetroNews Power Rankings. You're currently second in Class AA. I know Wheeling Central's good again. Doddridge County was off to a great start. Buffalo's good. Wyoming East, Frankfort's always good. Williamstown's always good. So obviously the goal this year is to win another state championship. Can the Irish pull that off?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's always great competition in AA, especially I feel like our region. You gotta give props to those teams. It's always a battle. Whether it's Scott, Buffalo, Logan, Sissonville is pretty good this year. I'm probably forgetting a few teams, but yeah, it's a really great region. But we're just trying to take every game one step at a time, trying to focus on that game, especially those regional games because you want to get the 1 seed. But I am a fan of the 8-team state tournament. I like that a lot. We get to go to Marshall, I believe.
Right.
So hopefully we can pull out a few games in the playoffs. We have great leadership on this team. We got Connor Jarvis, Xander Alera, Jack and Kimball. I've been playing with those guys ever since I was like 8 years old. So we kind of have that team chemistry when it comes to the seniors. Our underclassmen are great too. So, but I mean, we all learned from the seniors and juniors, when we were underclassmen, when we won that state championship title game in 2024. So you got to give props to them as well. Without them, showing us the path, showing us the way of things and how they work, we wouldn't be where we are today as a team. And obviously my coaches, Coach Bovinger is a great coach, Coach Lanham, Coach Alex, Coach Blades. They really push me and guide us, through the season. But yeah, I'd just say the main goal is to take one game at a time, and then when it gets to playoff time, just lock in from there.
Well, very good. We appreciate your time. We congratulate you on this award and your success so far, and we're looking forward to seeing you compete for that state championship in Huntington a little bit later on this spring.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys for having me on. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Zaden Ranson there of Charleston Catholic, winner of the Shorty Hardman Award. And I just talked the last 10 years about the guys that are professional athletes now, JJ and Tyson Bagent and Javon Carter and Darius Stills. But, I mean, you go way back with this award, Greg. You've got the likes of Randy Moss won this, a couple of Olympians, and Mary Lou Retton and Randy Barnes, all the way back to the 50s and the 60s with Jim Braxton and Jerry West winning this award. Randy Moss, as we mentioned. So there's it's just an unbelievable history.
Oh, yeah. And it goes back, like you said, well over a half a century, 70 years really close to it. And again, hasn't always been named after Shorty, but Shorty was a legendary sports writer.
Did you know Shorty? He was before my time here.
He was sort of finishing up his career at covering the Mountaineers, but he'd be at a lot of Mountaineer games when I was a young Cub reporter, and he was certainly legendary during that time amongst those in the state of West Virginia. So I'm glad, and it happened a while ago. I don't know what year it was that the West Virginia Sports Writers Association, used his name for this honor, but well-deserved because he was an icon in the profession.
Well, again, congratulations to Zaden Ranson of Charleston Catholic. You can read more about that at WVMetroNews.com. We'll take a break on the CityNet statewide sports line. We'll talk spring football when we return. Stay with us.
Running a small business means wearing a lot of hats, and dealing with tech problems shouldn't be one of them. CityNet helps West Virginia businesses keep their technology running smoothly, from networks and computers to backup, security, and day-to-day support. Whether you don't have IT staff or you have a small team that could use extra help, CityNet can take care of the technology or work alongside your team to fill in the gaps. With proactive monitoring, fast local support, and solutions built on CityNet's fiber network, your business stays productive instead of reactive. Call us at 1-844-CityNet to get started.
Answering a text or phone call while driving. Seems pretty harmless, right? But in the 5 seconds you took your eyes off the road to respond, you missed the girl riding her bike across the street. You missed the dog who darted into the road. And you missed the stop sign. And while it was just a ticket this time, it could have been worse. In fact, more than 700 people are injured in distracted driving crashes each day. Keep yourself and others safe. Don't drive distracted. Just drive. This message was brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hi there. Additional storms possible this evening, then another round on Saturday. Our Friday, it's warm and sunny. Cooler starting Sunday. By Monday morning, could have a frost and freeze on our hands. The need for precipitation is increasing, with Charleston's month-to-date deficit approaching an inch. Year-to-date approaching 4 inches, which is why we now have a moderate drought over areas of southern and eastern West Virginia. The spots that need the rain the most will generally see the lower amounts over the next 7 days. There is this corridor of a widespread ½ to an inch, higher amounts possible locally. A lot of that falling on Saturday when we have this marginal severe threat looking to the northern panhandle for a slight risk. Bringing it back to this evening, still a widespread marginal threat for some large hail and damaging winds. 7 p.m. onward here, we'll see storms rolling from west to east, generally losing intensity once the sun goes down. By the early morning hours, a few showers, then we dry out for your Friday. Fly CRW forecast, it starts at home, holding on to 90 on Sunday for Orlando and Tampa, but much of the rest of the country will start to cool down on the other side of the front that cools us down locally. Washington, D.C., 63 on Sunday. Panhandle to Panhandle forecast, looking north for 58 to 61 tonight, then 77 to 81 for our Friday. Still very warm for this time of year, but not quite as warm as today. Martinsburg looking at 65 for a low tonight, then we'll see 81 to 83 in many of these communities for your Friday. Continuing to look across the region, Elkins 56 tonight, Ripley 58. We'll see that spread of 83 to 75 here Friday, and ending looking south, Charleston bottoming out around the 60-degree mark for tonight into Friday, and then topping off with about 83 there on Friday. Cooler areas east in the mid-70s. Notice that it will be much quieter after some lingering showers on Sunday and some mornings in the 30s.
Sportsline Thursday night, Kyle and Greg spring football drills wrapping up. Practice number 14 was last night, and the Gold Blue Festival is Saturday. That'll wrap up spring ball. And Greg, you got into it pretty deep with Pat Kirkland yesterday, who is West Virginia's special teams coordinator and defensive assistant coach, but his time was dominated by special teams talk.
Yeah, again, something that we haven't gotten too deep into with many of the others, but Pat, like you said, does work with the defense as a whole, but he oversees the entire special teams unit. So I really delved in with him because, like so much of this team, all the special teams pieces are going to be brand new.
A lot of it's new. Got your long snapper back,
long snappers back in terms of McGuire Moss, but Preston Fox is graduated, so you need a new return guy. Oliver Straw's gone. You need a new punter. You need new kickers. You need really new everything except for a long snapper. So we got Pat Kirkland to go in depth on a lot of those positions.
All right, Pat Kirkland with a special teams overview.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of older guys. We put a really big emphasis, Coach has this spring. You don't have that spring portal anymore. So, the guys that in your program now are the ones that you're going to be playing with in the fall. So we've hit it. We had a lot of special teams work today. I think the guys have done a good job of embracing the scheme and the effort that we need. We've got to get some consistency down with probably, some of the new guys at the kicker and punter position. But I've been encouraged by what I've seen thus far.
How much you get to work on coverage and, both ends of covering and blocking for things, or you just work little individual pieces of it before you put it together?
No, we're working it all right now. You'll start out in the install and you'll kind of work some pods and some individual work just to get the technique down. But when we go into full scheme reps, we're working blocking, coverage, all the above with it.
And obviously, Rich Rodriguez, wherever he's been, first time around here, certainly huge emphasis placed on special teams.
Yeah, and again, an important aspect of any football team, but Rich is typically had good special teams, and they were solid last year, but they think they can get better there as well. I'm going to be really interested in how the return game comes about for the Mountaineers. DJ Epps, one of the new receivers, sort of sounds like a guy they're giving a lot of opportunities to, but there are plenty of candidates there, including Matt Sieg, the true freshman from Fort Cherry High School in Pittsburgh.
We'll hear Kirkland talk about the return game in a moment, but next up, an obvious answer to this question, but is it tougher coaching special teams now when everybody's new every single year, just like all the other aspects? Indeed, it is tougher coaching special teams in this new era.
Well, the biggest piece is you got so many new players, and you got to go through an evaluation piece of guys not only that have the ability, they all do, but also have the skill set that you're looking for as far as the mentality that you got to have. And also, Coach Rod's philosophy is amazing. He wants to play a lot of players. And some of those guys that may not be getting the reps on offense and defense right now, they're guys that are playing a lot of reps on teams for us. And that's a big deal, finding out what they're good at, who can do what. And I think we're kind of past that part now. We're really repping the guys that we feel can be in that two deep in special teams.
So the work obviously well underway, and he did get into the return game a bit. And the names you mentioned, DJ Epps, Matt Sieg, Armani Weaver, and Andre Devine, some of the candidates to return kicks for the Mountaineers this year.
We've put a big emphasis on the offseason, just having the ability to set up some returns. And I think we've got probably about 4 or 5 guys right now, skilled guys that are competing to be that guy. A big challenge is not just finding guys that carry the ball well, but have that mentality. They're not afraid to make the tough catch. The biggest thing on punt, we see some dynamic punters. And, sometimes when that ball hits the ground, we call them hidden yards. That thing will roll for 12 yards or 14 yards. Finding a guy back there that can make the tough catch and save us some of that yards is a big part as well. And with Fox last year, we were blessed with a tremendous one last year that did a great job for us. But I feel good about the 4 or 5 guys that have been getting some reps right now for us.
Yeah, and as he said, Preston Fox for really 4 years in that role, both kickoff and punt. But he was really good at that, and he was so sure-handed. And it starts there, especially the punt return, because you got people coming right down on top of you, and you got to at least begin with securing the catch and saving your team yardage and not letting the gunners come down and bother you, and then trying to get some yardage after that. It's often 2 different skills, kickoff return and punt return, even though Preston did both last year for West Virginia.
All right, how about the 6'6" Irish kicker, Jack Cassidy?
Interesting story, right? I mean, played, I think it was whatever Irish football is. It's a cross between rugby and what we know of as an American style. Started out with that, but excelled as a kicker in at least what they do in kicking. So he came over, went to Western Kentucky, really thrived as a kickoff specialist, but doing both place kicking and kickoff for West Virginia.
Let's hear about Jack Cassidy. Pat Kirkland's thoughts on the 6'6" kicker.
I'm not sure we had the budget for that. I would have loved to, and I would have jumped on that plane immediately. But Jack Cassidy is just one is personality-wise. I think he fits in well here. He loves Morgantown. He loves the tradition of West Virginia football. He's embraced that. He's a worker, and he's got such a skill set. The strong leg that he has, it's just putting it all together on a consistent basis. And he's definitely been making some really big strides the last couple weeks, but so have the other guys. I know Peter, before he got kind of banged up a little bit, was in the mix and will continue to do so. But Nate Flowers is a guy that has been working his tail off to compete.
So some competition there in terms of the kickers.
Yeah, and I had asked to start off with my question to Pat, when he was at Charleston, if he had ever had an opportunity to go recruit in Ireland, and I guess the Eagles didn't have the budget quite for that.
Well, they bring soccer players from all over the world.
Absolutely. Maybe another football player or two, but never got one before, but they've got one now.
All right, so Jack Cassidy, the Irishman, competing for place-kicking duties. Brian Hansen's pretty much in as punter.
Yeah, seems like he's the only – I'm not going to say he's the only guy doing the punting, but when the limited time we've gotten to see, he seemingly was the top, but comes from Colorado State, was really, really good there. So West Virginia hopes that they've got a nice replacement for Oliver Straw.
And then the veteran McGuire Moss back as West Virginia's long snapper.
Yeah, he was rock solid as a long snapper. And Henson, I did ask him, is probably going to be West Virginia's holder for placements,
right.
Something he's done in the past at his other stops.
All right, well, there's a rundown on special teams. We'll take a break on the CityNet statewide sports line. We're inside the Health Plan studios. Since 1979, the Health Plan has called West Virginia home. From humble beginnings, they've grown alongside West Virginia, becoming a part of its fabric. For over 4 decades, they've been here through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses, proudly serving West Virginia for over 40 years, the Health Plan. We'll check the text line. Interested to know your thoughts if you were at the sellout game, the game with 4,700 fans between West Virginia and Penn State in Hagerstown on Wednesday night. We'll get to that when we return on the Sports Line.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The Health Plan, we are here for you.
The WVU Center for Reproductive Medicine is here to help your family grow. 1 in 8 couples has difficulty getting pregnant or maintaining a pregnancy. Our providers are prepared to offer the best in care and comfort with customized treatment plans. Our state-of-the-art facility on Pineview Drive offers a private and convenient location near Ruby Memorial Hospital. To learn more, visit wvumedicine.org/CRM.
Boating season is almost here, and there's no better place to start your family's adventure than Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Family owned for over 40 years, Lou and his sons are West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer and true experts in boats, motors, and repairs. Explore their impressive inventory and score some of the best deals of the season right now. At Lou Wendell Marine Sales, they don't just sell boats, they sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com and get on the water in style. After all, the weekend's almost here.
If a fire occurred in your home, would your smoke alarms work? Don't wait for a tragedy to find out. Smoke alarms are designed to give you and your family the precious seconds you need to safely escape. Test your smoke alarms every month by pressing the test button until the alarm sounds. Depending on the type of battery in your smoke alarm, you may need to change the batteries at least once a year or whenever the low battery warning chirps. And never remove the batteries for any reason. Remember, having working smoke alarms is not only a good idea, it's the law. A message from the West Virginia State Fire Marshal's Office.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
What do you know about hot dogs? Because we've been all about hot dogs this week.
I love hot dogs, and I love them with Miracle Whip.
Oh, God, I forgot. Never mind.
And onions.
Okay.
I actually, yesterday morning, I had a hot dog for breakfast at 6:45 with onions and Miracle Whip.
And with that, we'll be back right after this.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan proudly supports our active and healthy communities and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
About a few minutes on the Sportsline for Thursday. I know we kind of teased the cuts with Andrew Powdrell, but no time for it. We'll leave him. Joe's in tomorrow. Joe Brocato will be in with you tomorrow. We'll get to those cuts tomorrow night.
Yeah, very good. Interesting defensive back. Has had an interesting path to West Virginia, but we'll get deep into that tomorrow.
Yeah, from Texas to Montana State.
Yep.
Where he played in the
FCS
championship
game.
Yep,
spent 2 years at Montana State, played in a championship game there, then moved up to UNLV.
Played for Dan Mullen.
Yep, last season has been a starter everywhere he's been, and now wanted yet to try his hand one more time at moving up to a Power 4 level. And coming to West Virginia has been mainly a cornerback in his prior stops, but is going to play nickel safety at West Virginia. That's where they're using him at right now. So he seems to really enjoy sort of the hybrid role that position entails.
All right, we'll get to those cuts tomorrow. We asked text question about people who were at the game, and I would imagine the majority of those fans were from the Eastern Panhandle. Well, I learned today that we're not on WEPM because of the Orioles. So people that were there not hearing our text question at 304 Talk 304. We did get one text asking that if WVU does more neutral site games, in Hagerstown in particular, please arrange to have television.
Well, that would be nice. I understand you had to rely on radio, but Andrew Creedy was very good. So
they had fun last night. I listened to a chunk of their broadcast.
Yeah, absolutely, they were good. So. It sort of sounds like in listening to that broadcast, this isn't a one-off appearance by West Virginia.
I don't know
Hagerstown.
how it could be if you're Hagerstown. I mean, bring them back next year and play Penn State, play Maryland, play whoever you can get.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of teams that you could sort of split the difference in terms of travel, and it's good for all of those. So I would say it would certainly the organizers over there have to love it. And they picked up some of the expenses, it sounded like, and
paid for the buses.
Both teams. Yeah, so all well and good, and sound like a really good ballpark. And not the last opportunity West Virginia will have.
Made some money.
Yep.
People had fun. So win-win. The WVU basketball program today officially announced the signing of Finley Bizjack, 6'4", 190-pounder from Texas. He comes to WVU from Butler, where he played the last 3 seasons, and he averaged 17.1 points per game last year. And so Finley Bizjack officially in. There's 3 portal additions that we know of. This is the first one that's been officially announced.
Yeah, you're right. The other 2, I'm sure are going to come in fairly short order, but all 3 of these are going to be integral parts of Ross Hodges' club for next year, and certainly Bizjack as a combo guard. You think of mainly as a shooter, but according to Brad Howe, what he was saying the other day, he can also handle the point guard's duties if necessary, so he could provide you some minutes there. But high-level scorer, can do a lot of things really well. But certainly the portal additions West Virginia has added to this point are very high level. We talked about it. I forget what day it was, but I know some of the recruiting services have West Virginia's portal class already listed at number 1. Now, there's a lot of time for others to make advances, but for West Virginia, their first 3 obviously highly regarded, and BizJack right up there.
That Orioles game, by the way, Cleveland leads Baltimore 2-0. They're in the 4th. Chase DeLauder got on base, got a walk, and then scored on a Jose Ramirez home run. So Jose Ramirez with a 2-run shot, putting the Cleveland Guardians up on the Orioles 2-0. And they are in, I believe, the 4th inning of that contest. Pirates got beat today. The Nationals beat them in extra innings 8-7. And the Reds got 1 hit today. The Giants defeated Cincinnati 3-0, and it was a one-hitter. And the starter for the Giants went 6. Landon Roop gave up that hit, and then the bullpen went the rest of the way. So the Reds beaten today by the Giants. The WVU Cardinals off after winning a series from the Guardians, and they are at Houston this weekend. They were off on this Thursday. They'll play at Houston this weekend. All right, Coach, it'll be Joe and Coach Hunter tomorrow night.
Yep, we'll wrap up the week and get people ready for the spring game.
Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline is an exclusive production of the MetroNews Radio Network. All rights reserved.